Okay, this is notes for 1-4. This is mainly for ninth period because I'm going to be out during this lesson, but it's for anybody also that was absent on Friday. If we have school, since we have a winter storm watch. Anyway, so what this is, we're doing series instead of sequence, and the only difference is instead of just listing A1, comma, A2, A3, N, it's adding. So a series is different than a sequence because we're adding. Now, this is a new pre-calculus thing, is this E, sigma, this Greek letter E called sigma, is a summation sign, and this tells me to go from I equals 1, that means the nth term is 1, go from the first term to the nth term, and plug that into your equation or formula right here, and you just plug 1 in for I, 2 in for I, 3 in for I, keep going all the way up to N, right up here, go all the way to N, and add them up, not list them. So the bottom is where you start, right here, and the top is where you stop. So if we were to do number 1, we just take 1 and plug it in for K, so you get 3 plus 1 is 4. And then you plug 2 in for K, and you get 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And then you plug, let's kind of write down our numbers. Then you plug 3 in for K, and you would get 10. And then you would plug 4 in for K and get 13. And now notice they're just increasing by 3, so the next number would be 16 and then 19, and you go out 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you just add up all those numbers. And let me actually grab my notes. I didn't bring them up with me for some crazy reason. But you should be adding that while I'm looking for my key to make sure you get the right answer. And the correct answer is, so drum roll, hopefully you have your answer. The correct answer is, looks like 169. Okay, 169, okay. Then number 2, you do the same thing, but now you're just starting at 3 and going to 5, so you're going to plug in 3, you're going to plug in 4, you're going to plug in 5, and then add them up. So 1 plus 9 is 10, 1 plus 16 is 17, 1 plus 25 is 26, and if you add those up, I'm assuming you can add, you would get 53. And then the next one, again, you plug in 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You're going to plug all those in for n and then add them up. So the first one is 5, the second one is 9, 3 times 4, 12 plus 1 is 13, 4 times 4 is 16 plus 1 is 17, 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1 is 21, and then 6 times 4, or 4 times 6 is 24 plus 1 is 25. You add all those up, and you get 90. Not too bad, huh? It's just kind of long. Okay, but now you're going to go the other way, and you're going to write this as a sigma, and you just make a little sigma sign like that. And then we're going to start at 1, and we're going to figure out how far we have to go to get to 250. But first we need a formula. Well, we have a common difference. This is a common difference. Stop right there. A common difference is 5. So remember your formula is A1. Oh, now I got to remember that formula. Plus D times N minus 1. And so our common difference, we don't know our N. So we don't know our N, so we don't want to use that formula. Let's think. So I think it's easier to do this. So our common difference, or our starting point is 5. That's our starting number. It's kind of like our mx plus b. And then our slope, or our common difference, is 5 times n. So you have 5 plus 5n, and then equals 1. Well, how far do you have to go to get to 250? So just say, okay, when does 5 plus 5n equals 250? You get 245 divided by 5, and you get 49. So this number up here is 49. So we couldn't use this formula to figure out our formula because we didn't have our n. So instead we just had to think about it. And if you want to double check your formula, plug it in. When n is 1, or when n is, oh, actually this one's going to start at 0, isn't it? The only other thing you could do, you could start it at 1, but what do we have to do? So 5 plus 5 times 1 is 10. So actually you have to start at 0. You can either start at 0, or you can rewrite your formula and you can write just 5n, right? So you could also write, let's see, n equals 1, and then it wouldn't go to 49 though, and then you could just say 5n, 5 times 1, 5 times 2, this might be actually a little bit clearer to do. And then so 250 equals 5n, divide 250 by 5, and you get 50. So you can go 1 to 50 and do 5n, or you can do 5 plus 5n and do 0 to 49. Both summations work. So notice there's not always just one answer to these problems. All right. Okay, the next one. Notice they're doing, okay, this is, I would say this is the third term, this is the fourth term, this is the fifth term, and they're just taking a summation and doing 1 over 5 to the n, and you go from n equals 3, and you stop at 15. And that's it. All right, and then the next one, summation sign, and it looks like it's 3 over 10 to the nth power. And you start at n equals 1, and it stops at n equals 4. The next one, notice it goes positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. So we have to have, here's our summation sign. So we need to have a negative 1 to the n plus 1, because the first one's even. If the first one's positive, it's got to be negative 1 to the n plus 1. If the first one's negative, like in the next one, then it would be negative 1 to the n. And I believe that was in your notes maybe from yesterday or the day before. And then again, it goes from n equals 1 to 4, and this one goes from n equals 1 to 4. And then you just times it by your 3 over 10 to the n, times 3 over 10 to the n. All right, and so, oh, actually, it's in your, there's a little notation down here that tells you to use these two things to make the odd number terms negative, and this one makes the even number terms negative. And that's really it. All right, so A1-4 is your assignment.